okay. But let us spend maybe 2-3 more minutes to just going over what we have so far, okay. So, we have talked about DMC, we have taken the idea from DMC. You have effect of past captured through the states, you have effect of future manipulated variables captured through your use or delta use, you have effect of future measured disturbance variables, measured and modeled disturbance variable which is captured through D, and you have effect of everything else that is not measured and modeled. Those could be measured but not modeled also. There might be disturbances that you have measured, but just that the model is not capable of handling it. Usually does not happen, but in principle it could happen. It could be effect of unmeasured disturbances. That means you know there are a few things that affect, but you are not modeling it in your model. It could be effect of model plant mismatch. That means your model predictions and your plant predictions are different. Why can model predictions and plant predictions be different? Because G of P and G of M are slightly different. Why would they be different? It could be different because there is a structural difference in G of P and G of M. For example, G of P is a third order model, whereas G of M is a fitted model which is first order plus time delay. First order plus time delay is different from a third order model. So, there it is an approximation. But again, there would be model plant mismatch. There could be model plant mismatch because your actual plant would be GP multiplied by U plus GW multiplied by W, whereas your model is just GM multiplied by U, GW multiplied by W is just not there. Okay, that would be other reason. Irrespective of what the reason for the genesis of all of these unmeasured errors are, okay, we can handle this unmeasured errors in the MPC framework. Okay. In all of this, there is an assumption that's kind of we have shrugged it under the carpet, that your A model, B model, C model and A plant, B plant and C plant should fall in the same model set. Okay. So, we took this idea and then looked into LQG, KF. The LQG and KF had only the MVs and there was epsilon and nu. The important part is that the epsilon and nu are white noise sequences. Now that we need to include decay, okay, we have included decay in what is shown in blue, okay, and the effect of unmeasured disturbances we have included in W. Okay. What are the next steps? What do I mean by that? With an abuse of notations, what I basically mean is that we have to reformulate such that we do not have WK in these underlined portions, but instead we reformulate it such that there is epsilon k over there. Okay. So, that is one, that is going to be the major part, and Okay. What do I mean by effects controller and estimator? What I mean is that for offset free tracking in the controller, you need as many integral modes as required by the controllers. Where are you getting that integral modes? You are getting those integral modes from W. Okay. Exactly same as what we had talked about in yesterday's class, right? Remember, we talked about it in R, in context of R, same thing applies in context of W also, A00I, remember? So, the number of i's that are there, again approximately speaking, I mean with pedagogical liberties, the number of i's that are there should be sufficient to ensure integral actions for the number of controlled variables. Okay. That is with respect to the controller. But there is one more requirement, and that requirement is x hat k given k should tend to xk. What do I mean by that? We do not know the actual state. We can only measure the outputs, and we use the estimator in order to estimate the states. If let us say your yk, the true value of yk is 10, but your estimated value of yk is 9, you are always going to think that your value is at 9, and you are going to make corrective actions thinking that that value is at 9, but when the value actually is at 10. So, if for example 8 is the set point, you are only going to change your u by a certain amount, that would not be sufficient to bring the actual value from 10 to 8. It will only be sufficient to bring the estimated value from 9 to 8. Okay. So, not only do you need the integral action to ensure bias free control or offset free control, you also need that the number of integral actions should be, or the state variable associated with these disturbances should be observable based on your measurements that you are choosing. Okay. So, the first one needs you to add as many integral modes as possible, that is from the controller viewpoint. The second one limits the maximum number of integral modes that you can add. Okay. So, what do we mean by that? Let us say we have 4 measurements. Okay. You can use those 4 measurements to estimate at most 4 disturbance variables, no more than that. Okay. And if you have, let us say 3 outputs which need integral action. Okay. Some of the outputs may not need integral action, but let us say you have 3 outputs that need integral action, then you need at least 3 integrators. So, you need at least 3 disturbance variables that ensure integral action. So, you can have at least 3 disturbance variables, at most 4 disturbance variables. Minimum 3 comes from the controller integral action requirement, maximum comes from the estimator requirements. Okay. Again, these are a little bit of hand wavy practical arguments. There is a whole lot of literature out there which I will put on the course website, so that you can read up and get the theoretical idea behind it. I mean, you can't just arbitrarily put these variables also. Okay. So, that is about the second part. What about the first part? Okay. You remember last time what we did one of the two things, we did the augmentation, okay, or we did the differencing. In both cases, the aim that we said was the residuals would be white. That is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to express Wk as some GWQ multiplied by epsilon k equivalent. Again, hand wavy arguments right now, we will talk about this in tomorrow's class, okay. And then we will augment our state to form you already got a flavor of this yesterday. In tomorrow's class, how we are going to do this disturbance modeling is something that we will talk about. Okay. Lot of ways what we did today was just a recap of various things that we have done over the past 10 weeks, setting it up for tomorrow's class. Okay. Any questions?